That was an easy win. All right. What's going on, guys? If you want to support our content and pick up this month's amazing Patreon rewards, you can do so at patreon.com/itresolves. If you're interested in custom playmats and sleeves, visit YourPlaymat.com and use code ItResolves10YP for 10% off your entire purchase. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to some more historic gameplay. Today we are checking out a Mono Green Stompy list. This is taken from Day9, who I absolutely love and watch a lot of his videos, and I happened to see him play this deck and I really enjoyed it. So we're gonna give this one a shot today. We'll see how it goes. It is Mono Green Stompy. It is very heavy on the power level, of course, and with the new set we got some interesting stuff. So one of those, and really the big one in my opinion, is Werewolf Pack Leader. It's a 2 mana 3/3, so already kind of above the regular par here, but whenever it attacks, if you attacked with creatures with total power 6 or greater, you get to draw a card. So to be clear, that's not if they do damage, it's just if you attack with 6 or more power. But additionally, you can pay for it until the end of the turn. It has base power and toughness 5/3, gains trample, and is not a human, which is interesting because you can really power that up pretty quickly, especially with this deck. We do have a couple of mana rampers. We've got the Florahedron and then the Sentinel here. Some protection spells and some fight spells as well. Snakeskin Veil gives hexproof, but also throws counters around. Blizzard Brawl, which obviously is the reason we have Snowlands, can fight off creatures on the opposing side, but also provide indestructible as needed. It is sorcery speed, so worth noting that makes it a little bit worse in that regard. Swarm Shambler is here, obviously just throwing around a bunch of counters and then hopefully kind of sticking up some more insects as need be. Another new card, Ranger class, 2 mana enchantment. This does have the level mechanic, so when it enters the battlefield you create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. If you level it up when you attack, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature you control, and then level it up again to level 3 for 4 mana, and you can look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. This is really one of the big engine cards of the deck. Not only does it, throw out a creature for you that is a 2 mana 2/2 essentially, which is pretty good, but it also powers up the creatures you already have and hopefully forwards the creature game plan overall as well. Some fairly common kind of heavy hitters here. We've got the Mammoth, we've got the Old Growth Troll, we've got Esika's Chariot as a full 4, which I think is kind of interesting, and then a Gnarled Professor, which does provide us with the learn mechanics. So we do have a few things here that we can kind of pull out as needed. As far as the lands go, we are trying out 2 of the layers of Lair of the Hydra and then 2 Faceless Haven, just to provide some extra man lands, and I'm really curious to see how this one goes. I think it's a very solid deck. I love Mono Green Stompy. It's just a classic kind of deck, and so I thought I'd give it a shot here. So without further ado, let's go send it through 3 games and see how it does. All right, and here we are for game number 1, and this is a pretty solid hand. I think we're gonna definitely keep this. I'm curious to see how this ends up playing out, or how we want to play our turn 2 though, because we've actually got quite a number of options here. I think with seeing this, the pack leader seems like the better bet, but we will see. Ooh, maybe it's just Ranger class though. That card is so good. It also provides a late game mana sink, which is kind of nice. Okay, looks like the 1/1 pingers deck, which is a scary deck, worth noting. Yeah, I'm gonna do this and force them to have a little more than just a shock here. I think if they have a lightning strike, they definitely just use it. Alternatively, they could just attack in, and if they do have a shock, they could be counting on us blocking, which I think we just do. I'm actually okay with this. We get rid of that Firebrand, which I think is helpful because it clears the path for the Florahedron. This encourages them to shock if they've got it, which is fine. But they may not. They did get a land though, which is good. And they get their, if they want, they've got a Pyromancer, but they do have to make a decision again if they do want to shock the pack leader, if they've got it. I think I would take that, but all right. They're not gonna. That's totally fine by me. All right, so we got this. I think the play is Kazandu Mammoth. Yeah, I think that's just the play. This is just a very solid, 3-drop. And I'm not gonna attack. We're gonna hold up. The good thing about this is we obviously outpower them, so the hope is that we can just stabilize and get to a point where we don't really worry about these little 2 damage spells. We do have to worry about Embercleave at some point, and if they don't attack, chances are they probably have it next turn. Albeit they could have played it this turn if they had it, so that's kind of interesting. Okay, that's kind of fine. Just gonna do this, save ourselves as much damage as possible, and it looks like they just don't have much of anything. I think the play is definitely just the Chariot. The question is, do we attack in? Again, I think the answer is no. I'm holding up until we can guarantee we're not just gonna die. Embercleave is such a scary card that you just never know what could happen here. So, I mean, they're doing the exact right thing by just continuously attacking. So they're doing the most. But we'll see if... Looks like they're only gonna get in for maybe 1 here. Yeah. Can't do anything about this one, obviously. So we take it. And they get a couple more little guys. Okay. Interesting. Part of me wants to go for a slight offensive play. The other part of me does not. The other part of me is just play a Gnarled Professor and kind of be done with it. I think we're gonna do that. The problem here is eventually we do lose, so we have to make something happen here, obviously. The question is, what do we need to happen? Part of me kind of just wants to take this and be able to exile this little guy. And I think next turn, since we can do it, that's probably the play. I'm gonna try and be slightly aggressive here. This might be the wrong play, I honestly don't know. Against these mono red lists, it's a little challenging because I just don't know if, since they're going so wide, if we're gonna end up being able to kind of deal with everything. But we'll try. They're gonna make this unblockable, I'm sure. Sure. Okay, well, that's a lot of damage. I mean, obviously, we're just going to block as much as we can here. We're going to take 4. But crucially, they did get rid of a lot to do that. Granted, if they just have some burn spells, then that might be enough. We just don't know. All right. I think the play is pretty obvious. We're just going to exile this. We could have played another Chariot, gotten 2 more creatures down, and gone that route, but I kind of don't like that as much. I do think I attack here. The only trick is if they get a 3 damage burn spell, we can just lose. So that might have been a bad attack. I have no idea, but... okay. Well, now we're just dead. Yeah, I mean, I had to assume they were going to have something at some point there, so that's fine. Unfortunately, that's an easy loss for us, but well done by the opponent. Maybe we should have gotten aggressive earlier. That could have been the case, but regardless, let's go ahead. Let's jump to game 2. And here we are for game number 2. This is a keep. I mean, the double Rangers class is pretty solid, I think. And so I think we just lean on that first. Let's go ahead and play the Lair first. Excuse me. Obviously good to have these as early as possible, so going ahead and playing that out now just gives us a safe bet. Next turn, depending on what we draw, I mean, I think the play is just going to be the Rangers class, but we'll see. Does that change anything? I think not. I think we still just go for that. Get a 2/2 down. I really love this card. It's very good. And eventually, hopefully, we can level that up and really get some advantage off of it. I'd love to draw a land next turn. That would allow us to play the Sentinel, potentially just level this up or play the other one. And there is the land. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. The reason being, this is Mardu colors. I have to assume that they're going to have a good bit of removal. I don't particularly want to overcommit to the board at this point. I'd much rather build this up to get us to a point where no matter what, however many creatures we have out, we've got some cool stuff we can do. So I think the play is here. Just goes ahead and gets that off the board, which I think is great. Get to do this. Tap this. And we get to throw out a Swarm Shambler as well. That seems pretty good. Attack for 4. And now we've just got double, and there we go. That was an easy win. All right. Heck yeah, Mono Green Stompy doing its thing. Wow, that's a very solid card. All right, we'll jump into game 3. And here we are for our third and final game. This is an interesting hand, actually. If you'll notice, we don't have 3 green. I'm gonna bet on we will draw either some other kind of action or an extra green source. So I'm gonna keep this and we'll see how it goes. Ranger's class on turn 2. Okay, there we go. Perfect. That's all we needed. I just wanted to make sure that we had the 3 green to play the old growth troll. But having the ranger class on turn 2 is just so solid. You kind of want to keep it. All right. This, what do we expect them to have, I guess is my question. I think what we're going to do is level this up, play the Swarm Shambler. I'm really not doing this in the best order possible, but then just go ahead and hit for that. See, this is so good in this list because, again, if we activate and the Swarm Shambler is now live, any creature that has a 1/1 counter on it that becomes the target of a spell, we get an insect token. So it's like we just get to replace a lot of maybe potential loss at some point. Okay, so what is the play? I think first and foremost, it's just to attack. We'll throw it on the Swarm Shambler just to build that up a little bit. And I am gonna play this old growth troll here. This is just such a kind of beating card, and we're very much on a clock, or they are very much on a clock thanks to us. So, ooh, that changes things. All right, well, we might just be dead. That sucks. Yeah, they've got a shuffle too. Play the other Azusa. Yeah, this is terrible. We're definitely just gonna die here, I think. That kind of sucks. It's not the end of the world, but it's not great. Yep, they're pulling all the lands out too. Look at this. Such a potent combo. Such a potent little combo. If you guys don't know, basically Bolas's Citadel allows you to play cards from the top of your deck by paying life instead of their mana cost. But more importantly, the Aetherflux Reservoir allows you to gain life for every card that you play, and it stacks. So it gets further and further along the more spells you play. And so here, they're going to scape shift into more lands, and then they can nuke us for 50. So I'm going to just go ahead and good game them, and we'll concede, and that's the fastest 3 games I feel like we've potentially ever had. But let's talk about this deck. All right, so Mono Green Stompy. We didn't really get to see it do its thing. I mean, we could certainly play more games with it at some point and maybe try a slightly different configuration, but I think we did find some really good play patterns very quickly. So Ranger class, obviously an all-star. And I do think mixed with the Swarm Shambler, you've got a lot of powerhouse potential and built-in semi-protection, I will say, from targeting removal, which is really nice because at the very least you're going to get a 1/1 back, and then you can stack more counters on the 1/1, which just allows you to kind of go for it. So I really do like the deck. We didn't see a great performance. We did see a win on turn 2, which was, or game 2, excuse me, which was nice, and it was a relatively fast one, but overall, I don't know. I think obviously if you're going mono green, Elves is like by far and away the way to do it. If you're going mono green aggro, Elves I think is just very clearly better, but having a Stompy list like this that does have some options and some tech built in, I really like. We didn't get to see the Werewolf really do its thing either, which is kind of sad, but it's all good. It was a really fun one. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. We will see you very soon for some more gameplay video.